This video was sponsored by Brilliant.
John Galloway here at the NSF News Desk. A SpaceX Raptor engine has exploded on the vertical test stand in McGregor, Texas. In what's surely a massive setback for the Starship program, we've received reports that it took crews a whopping 65.9 hours to return to testing on the vertical stand. Wait, hours? It's not even 3 days. Observations indicate that the anomaly was not that big of a deal for the experimental engine test facility. Yeah, I wore a tie, laugh it up. I mean, this paper's blank even. But I know what you're thinking. An engine blew up. How could that possibly be okay? Rather than spending years at the drawing board trying to design an engine that works in theory, SpaceX is taking an iterative approach driven by real-world data gathered on the test stand and in flight. Instead of just simulating how an engine should behave, SpaceX prefers real engines with real flames making real thrust. This approach is only made possible by the rapid test capabilities of SpaceX's facility in McGregor, Texas, and the generous support of viewers like you. Wait, wrong script. While SpaceX's Starbase and Florida launch facilities get a lot of well-deserved attention, the hard work of the SpaceX teams in McGregor often slips under the radar. Recently, we installed new live cameras to help give the space community a look at the exciting progress in Central Texas, and in the first weeks of operation, the cameras have captured a lot of action. I spent almost 4 weeks out in McGregor building all the new sites from scratch, which is probably how I got roped into doing this video. So let's dive in and take a closer look. Zoom the map in, editor, at how the McGregor facility works and what our new footage tells us about the state of Raptor development as we all await the upcoming Starship test flights. The first thing you might notice about McGregor is there are a lot of test stands. If SpaceX is going to build a stack of engines and then test the heck out of them, they've got to have some place to do it. So what's what? On the western side of the facility, near the town of Oglesby, Texas, there's a good little diner there if you need lunch, lies the Raptor test site. As the name suggests, this is the primary area for Raptor testing. It currently consists of 4 testing bays used for engine firing. 2 of the bays are in a horizontal configuration, pointing to the north and northeast. The horizontal stand also has a bay facing to the west, but for whatever reason, it's not used in engine firings. Yet. It seems to be filled with GSC. Next, there are the Raptor vertical bays. Located just to the south of the horizontal stands, the vertical bays look like a single test cell. If you look closely, though, you'll see that there are actually 2 distinct bays. Testing in the vertical configuration gives SpaceX a more flight-like environment when firing the engines. At least, that's what Elon said on Twitter. Additionally, the flame trench and water deluge system help reduce noise from the test, making them far less likely to jump scare you when you're trying to bolt down a solar panel. Ask me how I know. The 5th and final Raptor test stand is the iconic tripod stand. It was originally built by Beale Aerospace in the 90s, so, like when I was in school and before a lot of y'all were born. Beale owned and operated the McGregor facility from the late 90s until 2000 when the company closed its doors, leaving the snarky time capsule on the internet in the form of an HTML document. SpaceX then took over the facility and converted the tripod to support early Falcon 9 static fire testing. Since it's SpaceX, Falcon 9 quickly became too powerful for the tripod stand, so a new, much more boring stand was built, and the tripod sat idle for many years. That was until 2019 when SpaceX began conversion efforts to support Raptor's testing on the tripod, resulting in cheers from mock diamond enthusiasts worldwide. I'm not kidding. Raptor tests on the tripod are spectacular. The mock diamonds are clearly visible for miles. Flame trench? We don't need no stinking flame trench. Hose down some concrete and send it. Alright, look, I get it. The Raptor's certainly the star of the show these days. But McGregor isn't just all Raptors all the time. The facility remains critical for SpaceX's other programs too. Adjacent to the tripod is the current Falcon 9 first stage test stand, where new boosters get stood up, strapped down, and lit on fire. The script actually says perform long-duration static fire tests before launch, but that's boring, and I'm the one with the mic. Don't edit that out. Over on the eastern side of the complex, out in yet another field, a Merlin engine test site can be found. It features an MVAC test stand, 2 Merlin bays, and an old Falcon 9 Stage 2 stand. Stage 2 testing has since been moved to a new facility just to the north of the Merlin stands. Like the first stage, second stages perform long-duration static fires at McGregor to verify they are ready for launch. It's cooler if you use a voice. Super Draco and Draco test stands for the Dragon capsules can also be found at McGregor, along with other various structural and component test stands for SpaceX's fleet of vehicles. I never did see anything I could say was a thruster test, but I did hear a few weird noises on occasion and wondered if it's with Draco, a Super Draco, or just a cow. Cows make some weird noises at night. The most recent addition to the McGregor site is a Raptor engine factory, which is slated to produce one Raptor engine a day. This rapid production cadence will allow SpaceX to produce enough flight-ready Raptors for Super Heavy and Starship vehicles, while also supporting rapid iteration of the Raptor design. We haven't seen any Raptors come marching out yet, but I keep eating chocolate bars looking for a golden ticket, so I can go inside to see the Raptors, if they're there. Alright, so how often is SpaceX actually testing Raptor engines? The number of tests varies substantially from day to day, but most days usually have at least 3 Raptor tests. In our first month of observing tests with our new cameras, the record for the most Raptor firings in a day currently stands at a whopping 8. One more and I could pull off the old 9 times. 9 times. Get to work, SpaceX. The length of a firing also varies wildly, but tests often last from around 50 seconds to 2.5 minutes. As of this recording, like me talking into the microphone right now, the longest Raptor test we've observed has been around 167 seconds. Of course, that's now outdated. Like 10 minutes before we published the video, they did a 6-minute test on an RVAC. So, let's talk about that success rate. Like I said, I was out there in person for almost a month all told, and I heard, saw, and felt a plethora of different tests that sounded just fine to my admittedly untrained but rocket-loving ears. Since they came online, weeks before you knew about them, our cameras have captured dozens of long-duration firings that seemingly went super smoothly. And all that time, we've captured only 2 Raptor tests that ended in an obvious run. Everybody loves acronyms. That one stands for Rapid Unscheduled Disassembly. Our anomaly captures have understandably caused a lot of discussion about what they mean for Raptor progress and the broader Starship program. Armchair space engineologists love to have opinions. Yes, I'm talking about you. But for the real experts at McGregor, they really are just another day at the office. They have the experience, the expertise, and the equipment to safely push these engines to their absolute limit. Here's another thing to remember. Raptor is arguably the most cost-effective engine ever developed. That means that SpaceX can likely afford to blow up quite a few engines in the name of science. Why rely solely on simulations when you have the ability to get actual test stand data, which is arguably more accurate anyways? SpaceX can then use that real-world data to inform the next iteration of the engine, which can be sent to the test stand in a matter of weeks rather than years. The end result is a much faster development cycle than usually seen in the aerospace industry. What does all this mean when you see a RUD? Honestly, rapid unscheduled disassembly may not be the right terminology. I'm pretty sure that, if they were so inclined, the engineers who built the engines could turn them up to 11 just to see what they could do. Elon is not known for just making 10 louder. Maybe what we see sometimes is a rapid scheduled disassembly, which would still yield tons of data. Remember, your test is only a failure if you don't learn anything. When you look at it that way, an anomaly is likely no big deal. Is it possible that the failure was quite unexpected, and today just happened to be the day that the hydrocoptic Marsylvanes just decided to give up? This is testing after all, and setbacks do happen. Without any official information on the targets of each test, it's impossible to say for sure. Now, on the flip side of things, it's also very possible that a seemingly nominal test could have actually have a less than desirable result. There have likely been tests that seem to go fine, but when teams got back to the test stand for closer inspection, they found that the engine had, well, gotten a bit melty. This is all to say that drawing any sort of concrete conclusions of whether or not any particular test was good, bad, ugly, or just awesome is nearly impossible from a camera placed over a mile away from the test stand. At the end of the day, the number and frequency of firings is a clear indication that the SpaceX teams are making a lot of progress on Raptor. Just the fact that they have so many engines to test is pretty impressive. As Elon always says, ramping to a high production cadence is very difficult. Did he actually say that? Somebody check the bird out. To watch the firings live yourself, make sure you check out our new 24/7 stream, McGregor Live, which is linked in the description of this video. Testing generally occurs between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. Central Time each day. You can leave the stream open on a free monitor and never miss a test, or if you don't have the required 15 screens to watch all our content, just leave it open in a spare tab and enjoy Raptor Radio on 103.3 The Bell. I made that up. That's not a real station. There's nothing better than your workday being interrupted by the sound of a roaring Raptor engine. NASA Spaceflight not responsible for spilled coffee, tea, or other beverages. Before you go, make sure you check out our store. We've actually got a new Raptor Wrangler shirt to commemorate the launch of our new McGregor coverage. All purchases help us to continually improve the way that we share what's going on in space with you. And speaking of constantly improving, I want to give a special thanks to Brilliant.org for not only sponsoring this video, but also helping us make McGregor Live possible. Just like we're constantly improving our coverage, Brilliant is a great way for you to constantly improve your understanding of the world. Since the best way to learn is to actually do, check this out. We know rocket engines help steer the rocket by basically wiggling around. It's called thrust vectoring. Say I have a rocket engine on the horizontal test stand, and know it can gimbal its thrust up to 8 degrees. If the exhaust plume is 150 feet long, how high above the ground will the plume be at max gimbal? I'm pretty sure this has something to do with math, and Brilliant's got it. The interactive on trigonometry shows you how to calculate a height given an angle and a length, as well as explains why sine and cosine be the way they do. If you work out the answer to my little rocket word problem, leave it down in the comments. Even if you don't need to calculate rocket angles on a daily basis, if you're watching this video, I'm positive that you'll find something relevant to your interest in Brilliant's huge catalog of interactive STEM lessons. So head on over to brilliant.org/NASA Spaceflight, or just click the link in the description to get started for free. If you do decide to get signed up, the first 200 people to use that link will get 20% off an annual premium membership. Finally, be on the lookout for more video updates on engine testing at McGregor, and we hope to see you over in the chat. If you want to find your way back to our channel for more space-related goodness, make sure you like and subscribe, or whatever the kids are saying these days. For now, I'm John Galloway with NASA Spaceflight, and we'll see you nerds later.